Redskins have Colt Brennan on the field for the first time, the rookie from Hawaii. Let's see what the kid's got. He's got Marcus Mason behind him, 1st and 10 at his own 26. Colt back to pass on 1st down. The screen out to the right. Mason makes the catch, runs into Reinhardt, breaks the tackle, and gets out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Pretty good on that one, right?
Made something out of nothing that time.
Both of them did.
And a good, safe call by Jim Zorn for his quarterback.
Yep.
The rookie quarterback.
Get that first one taken care of.
Yeah, exactly, Sam. You know, just give him something easy.
Yeah.
Something he can get
So
some confidence.
you've got to know him a little bit. You got to believe he's extremely excited right now.
Well,
You
got to be.
know the kind of kid he is.
Looks like he has pretty good feet on that play. I mean, he moved very well.
He is a very likable kid. 2nd and 4 at their own 32. Maurice Mann in motion to the left. Colt Brennan, the handoff to Marcus Mason. The cutback, but he gets tripped up and maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Now, maybe a loss of a yard there on that play. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Redskins at their own 31. 16-9. Indianapolis leading here in the 3rd quarter.
All right, time for a turning pass.
Well, they can go to the tight end.
Yeah.
He can throw that one. The thing is, he gets it down a little low.
4 wide with the running back Mason behind Colt Brennan.
Talking about Colt Brennan.
Colt back to pass on 3rd down, going deep down the left side. Caught by McMillan at the 40-yard line. He put some air under that one.
That was a perfect one, right?
Perfectly thrown balls, yes.
He showed me something on that one, Sonny.
He's got a good arm.
Yeah.
He's excited.
He set more records.
I like the name, Colt Brennan. I mean, that's a good Western name, isn't it?
It is. He plays in the East, but it's a nice Western.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's good.
But that was a nice pass. You got to admit.
Very nice. And a good catch, too.
Laid it right in there.
Sonny, you were telling me the throw you need to make on that play is to get it over the defender, and that's exactly what he did.
He did it there. Where he has trouble is down close because the ball doesn't have the opportunity to get up.
And Colt needs to call a timeout here after the long gainer to the Indianapolis 37.
Didn't get the play.
And we'll take the break. Indianapolis 16, Redskins 9, 8:29 to play in the 3rd.
For quarterback. We're brought to you by McDonald's, now open at 5 a.m. or earlier at participating McDonald's. I'm loving it. I'm Liz Drake with the Redskins Radio. Let's send it to the voice of the Redskins, Sonny, Sam, Larry, and Doc. Guys?
All right, Liz, thank you very much. Redskins with it, 1st and 10 at the Indianapolis 37. Sonny, we won't tell the story on the air.
No.
Marcus Mason, the running back, play action, rolling to the right, pass complete. Fred Davis, the kid, over head over heels. Jason Good, the rookie from the University of Maryland, makes the catch and somehow holds on.
Yeah, but the defensive back came up there and took a knee in the head.
Wow.
Boy, he saw stars on that one.
Sonny, on these rollouts where Colt Brennan has any kind of passing lane, he is super accurate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what he did in school. And by rolling out, he's outside. He's not having to throw over people. To throw the ball the way he delivers the ball, he's going to have to throw through the gaps. He can't throw over people.
It's going to be a handoff. Marcus Mason looking for running room, abuses the tackler. It gets inside the 24. Our pleasure to have one of the newest members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame with us in the booth, Mr. Daryl Green. Daryl?
Daryl Green.
What up,
Congratulations, guys.
Sir, thank you, sir.
You running on empty yet, Daryl?
No, actually, you know, you're exactly right. I am on empty, but I just don't know it.
Oh,
you can hear it a little bit in my voice.
Oh, did you realize it's Mr. Daryl Green now? You have graduated.
Thank you very much.
I guess all
gentlemen, Mr.
all those tackling lessons that Sam gave you paid off somehow, I guess. I don't know.
Wait a minute. I want to make a statement. He's not here because of his tackling. Okay?
Yeah, that's true. Matter of fact, I'm almost not here because of my tackling. And most of that does go to Sam.
That's good. Was it an exciting weekend for you?
Most exciting I can remember in a long, long time, and more than just saying exciting, uniquely in its own way exciting.
Yes.
Cut out them big words now for a defensive guy. Uniquely.
Oh, my goodness.
2nd and 5 Redskins at the Indianapolis 19. Daryl Green, honored to have him in the booth. Now we got 3 Hall of Famers in the booth right now. Colt Brennan looking, no place to go, and he's going to get sacked. And one of the Redskins offensive linemen almost got rolled up on. Daryl, are you still pinching yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I am. You know, and particularly being 5 feet 8 3/4 in height.
You used to be taller.
No, yeah. You know, from where I come from, no. Really, but I would imagine that my two now Hall of Fame buddies in here, they would both say it too. How do we get here? I mean, how do we get to become a Hall of Famer?
I'm playing with a lot of great players.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, with God-given talent, you have it.
God bless this.
Yeah.
Third and 6. Call the play here. We'll get back to Daryl. Colt Brennan back to pass. Looking end zone. Man is there. Touchdown! Touchdown Redskins. Colt Brennan to man for 6. What a pass.
Great throw. Great throw. What did Jim Zorn do? Brought him out of the pocket, a little sprint. He sprinted out of the pocket. He gave him a lane to throw the ball to. And that was a pattern that he had to get up over the defender.
Well, that's an
excellent throw.
First quarterback coach we've had. I mean, now we got Sonny talking again.
Daryl, I knew you expected an exciting weekend. Did you expect the crowd here yesterday?
Oh, man, we had no clue. But this is FedEx Field, though, man. That was incredible. That was interesting what you said just then. He's got his man. When you said man, I was like, he's man? Yeah. It's another Charles Mann out there, huh?
Yeah. There's only one Charles Mann, and you had such an outstanding speech. Your son, all class. Man, you couldn't be any prouder right now.
Oh, man.
Well, let me say this to you.
For a touchdown pass, 16-16 the score.
He's got a higher quarterback rating than Jason.
Does he really?
He was 158.
I don't know. I never did figure out how you rate those quarters.
Don't try to figure it out. Don't try. Hand off to Marcus Mason up the middle. Gets it out to the 17-yard line. Mason on the carry. Gain of 5 on first down.
Well, the reason you say that, you can't figure it out either, right, Larry? Sonny can figure it out. He knows those quarterback moves.
2nd and 5. 5 yards on that run. Don't forget the Redskins open the preseason at home.
When is that?
Next Saturday against Buffalo.
I hope we're there.
I think we're going to be there. Hand off to Mason again, looking for some running room. Flag on the play, right in the line.
Yeah.
Andrew Crummy in as a center for the Redskins, the rookie from Maryland.
Well, I don't know. It might be against the Colts. I thought I saw him in motion.
Clapping down there, you know.
Yeah.
Holding. 61.
61.
Defense.
Yeah.
From the end of the run. First down.
Well,
Colin Farrell, yes. Different Colin Farrell, though, I believe.
Well, I saw him make that move, the official, but then I couldn't believe it. You had defensive holding on a running play.
Doc's down on the field with a very happy John Jansen.
A man who's very happy to exit Canton, this time on 2 feet. How's it feel?
It feels great. I was never worried about coming back. There was a fluke injury last time, but again, anytime you can get out of a preseason game, play well, and get out healthy, it's a good thing.
Sonny and Sam made a comment about that running game early on, I thought was right on the target. You guys got explosion off the ball, and I saw you and Randy Thomas dap. So how good did it look to have 76 and 77 back?
Oh, it felt great. I love playing next to Randy. He's got a lot of excitement, and he's a great guy to play next because he sets up blocks straight for me. And real excited to be out there playing with Randy, and it just felt good to be home again.
Stay healthy.
Thanks, man.
All right, thank you, Doc. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for the milkshakes, John.
Great to have John back. Big man.
He's a leader.
He is that.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion by Brennan. While we heard from John Jansen, play action fake Colt over the middle. Beautiful pass right in the belly of the tight end. Jason Good over the defender.
He whipped that ball in there, didn't he? I mean, that's sidearm throw.
He forced that in there. He got away with one then. Guy took a swap at it and didn't get it. But
he made it work.
That's the way he plays.
You got to be cocky, Sonny. You got to love his cockiness.
That's right.
Well, most quarterbacks are.
I mean, he dropped it over 2 defenders with that sidearm throw. Man, he threaded
perfectly thrown ball.
He put that thing in there.
He sure did. Woo. 1st and 10 Redskins at the 49 of Indy. Brock Cartwright back in as a running back. Nehemiah Broughton, the fullback. Hand off to Rock. No place to go on the right side. He's stacked up. Nothing doing there. Lost a yard on the play back to the 50.
I want to see Colt run it. I want to see Colt run it. See if he can
I don't
run
want to see him run.
You don't want to see him run it?
He's not paid to run.
Oh, he weren't either. He always wanted to
He's made make those plays just like he's making.
Just keep it going.
There you go.
Nehemiah Broughton out. Burl Toller in. Minute 10 to go in the 3rd quarter. Got a tie score, 16 all.
I'll tell you one thing. He's got a great name, and he's exciting to watch.
I like the fact that they get in and out of the huddle, don't you?
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, there's like 13 seconds on the play clock, and they're at the line.
We haven't had a delay game yet.
Colt Brennan back to pass, screen pass, right side to Rock, has a couple blockers, nice cut, gets hit at the 43, gets down to the 41. He's going to be 2 yards short of the first down.
There's a guy that you like that performs for you all the time, Rock Cartwright.
You know what you're going to get.
He's just, he's solid. That's his name, Rock.
They don't have enough backs. He's got to be wondering, why am I out here?
Yeah, it's just him and Mason.
That's right.
You know, while the Indianapolis Colts have 7 running backs active for tonight, the Redskins going with 2 with Betts and CP out.
Maybe they could borrow one.
Maybe.
Lend them one, huh?
Yeah. Give us a back.
Going to wear a jersey? Or?
You don't have to.
Give him an old used jersey.
3rd and 2. Cartwright the running back. Brennan the slant. Throws it behind Billy McMullen, but a flag on the play.
So
it's going to be an offsides call on Indy, so that pass was behind McMullen on the slant, Sonny. That's a dangerous pass right there.
Defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
He'll take that.
He made a bad throw, and it's something he'll learn from.
They bailed him out.
And they get a first down out of the play. The Redskins do.
And the mark comes down to the 36-yard line of Indianapolis. 4 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. It'll be the final play of quarter number 3 with the tie score 16 apiece.
I think some people have already left since all the inductions and everything.
We got to start back to Washington.
They're driving home tonight.
Yeah.
Play action, bootleg right. Colt throws it. Beautiful pass into the hands of Maurice Mann to the 28-yard line of Indianapolis, and that'll do it for quarter number 3. 16 apiece to score. Stadium, Larry Michael, Sonny Jurgensen, Sam Huff, Jack Hicks at the dial, CJ, Chris Johnson, our illustrious producer tonight. The 3rd quarter stats brought to you by Teradata, empowering government agencies to make smart decisions and gain the competitive edge to win.
As the game's close, so is the yardage. 325 for the Colts, 290 for the Redskins. Colt Brennan, 6 of 7, 103 yards.
2nd and 2 Skins at the Indy 28. Tie score 16 apiece to start the 3rd. Draw play to Rock Cartwright, but didn't develop too quickly. Maybe a gain of a yard there. Maybe a yard. Brings up a 3rd down, Sonny.
4 sacks against the Redskins. That's something that Joe Bugle isn't going to like. They've rushed the ball for 103 yards. You know what the Colts have rushed for? 210 yards.
Wow. Doesn't seem like it.
No. It doesn't, but when Hart was in there, he was pretty good.
Chewing up some yards.
He was chewing up some yards.
Burl Toller comes out to the left side in the slot. Man to the right, Billy McMullen. 3rd and 2. Rock Cartwright, the running back. Hand off to Rock. Looking for running room. Makes a cut. Got the first down. To the 26-yard line.
He almost broke it big, didn't he? I mean, the safety had to come
Got a
up.
man down.
Todd Wade is down. One of the Redskins linemen, Todd Wade, is down slow and getting up, trying to get up to a knee.
He hurt his knee.
Favoring his right leg.
I think this is the first injury we've had.
It is the first injury for the Redskins. Todd Wade favoring that right leg.
The backup tight end or offensive tackle.
Todd had been talking to the trainer about his right leg a little bit earlier. Playing the right tackle position. We'll take the break.
Now, Sonny, Sam, Larry, and Doc. Guys, back to you.
26-yard line. Rock Cartwright, the running back. Brennan back to pass. Fires over the middle. It's complete. The tight end, Jason Good, the rookie from the University of Maryland, inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
Good, quick decision.
Or was that Fred Davis?
Reception by Davis.
Fred Davis, 84, 85, 86. So Fred Davis with the catch. And that'll take it down to the 19-yard line. 2nd and 3 coming up for the Skins.
He was a big draft choice, wasn't he? A top draft choice?
Yeah, 48th pick overall. Single setback, Rock Cartwright. 4 wide in the formation. Colt Brennan, delay give, Rock Cartwright, all kinds of running room to the left side. Trying to take it all the way to the left, but gets upended at the 17-yard line.
I think he might be close to that first down.
You're right, Sam. He might just be a hair short, but hard to tell from this angle. Sonny, can you tell us? Can't see that side of the field.
You got to measure it.
I got to ask, I guess.
I think it's close enough for a measurement. I don't know.
Looks like he could be the length of the football short. In for the injured Todd Wade is Devin Clark, a rookie from New Mexico. They're looking at Todd Wade's right ankle, the outside of his right leg at the ankle. We'll get an official report a little bit later.
Doc can check that out.
Doctor. Colt Toller in the game. Handoff, Rock Cartwright running left. Got the first down for sure down to the 11-yard line.
Rock has been a hard worker tonight, hasn't he? I mean, he's run a lot.
He's had to with Liddell Betts and Clinton Portis out.
He's the leading rusher now, isn't he, John? Mason had 59. What's he got? He's got to have just made 2 runs. Got to be close.
He has 54 yards. 12 carries, 54 yards. Mason has 12 carries, 59.
First and 10 Redskins at the 11. Burl Toller is to the left. To the right, Billy McMullen. Marcus Mason in the game. Handoff to Mason. Looking for some running room. Avoids the first tackler inside the 10. Down to the 7-yard line. Let's go down to Doc.
Hey, guys, Wade appears to have a sprained ankle. Looks a little bit high. He had one of those ankle braces on it. They took it off. Bubba Trainer, Tire, all the trainers are there. Doesn't seem to be any immediate pain, but don't expect to see him back.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Doc. Also down there is the famed orthopedic man, Dr. James Andrews, who is on the Redskins sidelines for all games.
It's easy for Doc to say he's not in any pain.
Better believe it.
High formation behind Brennan. Handoff to Mason, 2nd and 5. Trying the left side, but nothing there. Gets to the 5-yard line.
Just keep the clock running.
11 minutes to go. The score is tied at 16.
There you go. So we can get out of here and get on home.
Remember the last time we were here 4 years ago, Sonny departed because the margin seemed to be secure, but the game got tied up. And Sonny was down there right outside the locker room, and a guy by the name of Ola Kimrin for the Redskins, because John Hall had been hurt, kicked the field goal. Ola Kimrin, I believe, came overseas earlier that week, didn't he, Sonny? From over in Denmark somewhere, I think.
Sonny was heading on his way out of here.
Well, you couldn't. It's difficult to get down to the best.
3rd and 4, Brennan looking, flushed out to the right, scrambling, stringing it out, throws it at the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colt Brennan. What a great improvisation for the touchdown, the go-ahead score.
The Redskins down.
A little bit. Marcus Mason on the catch, and the Redskins take the lead.
Got one down.
And Brennan limping a little bit.
Stephon Heyer, the turf, at the 10-yard line. So 2 key backups for the Redskins. The final quarter have gone down.
Another tackle.
And that's Stephon Heyer, and he made a great impression on the team last year, stepping in for John Jansen. And let's see what the big man, if the big man can get up. He's on all 4s right now. We didn't see what happened to Stephon.
I don't know, but he went down. I mean, somebody must have pushed him down or something. I didn't see him do anything.
Second touchdown pass of the game. Stephon is up, and he looks like he's favoring his right leg as well. Let's go to Doc on the sideline.
Yeah, guys, you're right. They rolled up on him. A lot of garbage now. A lot of times the offensive lineman gets his leg planted, and then a guy gets knocked into it. And it happened to him on the prior play, so it was back-to-back, and he looks like he'll survive this.
Well, that's kind of scary. Your 2 starting backup tackles. I shouldn't say starting. Your 2 backup tackles, both limping around down there. 15 plays, 88 yards, and Colt Brennan now has 2 touchdown passes. The PAT by Sean Sweezum is good, giving the Redskins the 23-16 lead with 10:22 to play in the Hall of Fame game. Timeout. This is Redskins Radio.
At Autotrader.com, you can now shop for new cars. That's big news.
And they've had the ball 1 more minute. The Jets, 22:57 to 22:03.
Colt Brennan in the quarterback. The Redskins start the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. Man in motion. Colt gives it to Marcus Mason. Little crease up the middle. Driving up across the 19 to the 20-yard line.
Has good eyes, doesn't he? He finds the seam. He looks for that daylight.
Mason?
And darts through it.
Yeah, he does. He's unbelievable.
Collins was 11 of 15 for 72 yards. Mason has 6 carries now for like 36 yards. Jason Campbell, not a good night. 4, 10, 28 yards.
Gain of 6 on 1st down for Mason. 2nd and 4 coming up for the Skins at their own 20.
It's Colt Brennan. I like to watch him play. He's exciting.
Brennan gonna bootleg it out to the right. Fires. Oh, a little too high for Jason Good to handle. Colt would like to have that back because Good had some running room ahead.
Yes, he did.
I think Colt could have run and picked up the first down.
And that's that kind of pass he likes to throw on the move to his right.
The ball took off on him.
He had it on his fingertips. Got to make those catches if you play in this league.
Colt Brennan. Come away.
3rd and 4 for the Skins at their own 20 now.
He's a long way from home, isn't he?
Sure is. Well, Horace Gant, a rookie wide receiver from St. Olaf, and he is to the left on 3rd and 4. Facing the running back. Brennan, short drop. Fires. Catch made by Mann. Hit behind the marker, and he's going to be short of the first down by a yard.
That's the receiver's fault. He should have known to get up over.
Wasn't.
He caught the ball, but he's still short.
Now here's the punter's last chance, Sonny. Punter's last chance to get something happening here. He's got a full field. He's punting from inside his own 10.
I say that, Sam, it wasn't his fault. That's what the pattern called for him to go that distance. They had somebody else going deeper. Probably wasn't open.
Catch yet.
He needed a touchdown bad. I mean, you know, it's 10-6.
Marcus Mason in motion. Brought in the lonely running back behind him. Colt fires it right in the chest. Boy, he drilled that.
Put it right there, didn't he? I mean, this guy.
Chasing good the catch, and man, that one going to escape his chest. He drilled it in there.
He shows you something when he plays. He's exciting to watch.
Might have bruised a rib with that throw. Jeez.
It was exciting to use
Colt, you like that?
Well, I like the
7-yard pitch.
I just like the name Colt, you know, because I have some Colts at the farm.
End of the game, Burl Toller. He's a slot man on the left side. 2nd and 4 for the Redskins at their own 35. Handoff Marcus Mason. Burst through a hole across the 40. Flag on the play.
Holding, I think.
There'll be a hold against the Skins, you would think, where that flag was thrown.
Matua.
I think maybe 78. Matua looked like he was holding something. Maybe
Holding. Offense. Number 78.
Yeah,
10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
He was happy. He thought he made a good block.
Made a tackle.
Well, he had to look through that hair hanging down his back.
He can't even read his number off his back. His hair is so long.
Well, at 78, we had him.
He's going to march it back to the Redskins' 27-yard line.
Really cost Mason big yardage. Yeah.
2nd and 12 coming up for the Skins. Brennan says Toller and Devin Thomas to the right, to the left man. Single setback is Marcus Mason. Colt turns, gives it to Mason, looking for room on the left side, trying to pick a hole, gets to the 30. That's as far as he goes. A gain of 3 on that play. That'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
Gone long in this game ever.
Not at all.
One pattern there. Devin Thomas. He was out of bounds, remember?
Really wasn't even that deep. 25, 30 yarder. Redskins on 3rd downs are 2 of 10. 3rd and 9 at their own 30-yard line. Brennan under center. Got Mason behind him. Jets faking a blitz here. Here they come. Colt back to pass. Scrambling. Flushed out to the right. Defender's got a hold of him and brings him down.
Linebacker.
Colt couldn't escape the linebacker on that play. Corey Spencer, a 5-year man out of North Texas. That'll bring on Durant Brooks to punt.
Well, it didn't work, did it?
It's exciting to you,
Well, not on that play.
and everything, but you got your 2-minute warning coming up. You have plenty of time.
It's a rookie quarterback.
Devin Thomas is out to the left. Faces a running back. Colt back to pass, looking, throwing deep, looking for McMullen. Catch made inside the 50 to the Jet 44-yard line. Boy, that was a quick strike. And we've reached the 2-minute warning. 1:54 to go in the game, and the Redskins in Jet territory, trailing by 4 with 1 timeout remaining. We'll be back in a moment. This is Redskins Radio.
In the 2nd quarter, that scoreboard brought to you by McDonald's. Now open at 5 a.m. or earlier at participating McDonald's. I'm loving it. Larry, back to you.
I think, Al. Minute 54 to go in this game. Redskins trailing 10-6, but they've got it 1st and 10 at the Jet 43, and they have 1 timeout remaining. So plenty of time for Colt Brennan to work some late-game magic here.
Oh, yeah. Other day they were practicing this when I was watching. They had 8 seconds and no timeouts on the 30.
Did he get it in?
Well, the receiver made the wrong move. He stepped back in bounds and tried to make a first. He said, we don't need first downs. We need touchdowns.
Brennan gives it to Marcus Mason, who's got a hole. 40-35 to the 30-yard line, inside the 30 to the 28. First down for the Redskins. The clock winds, but a big gainer. They crossed him up that time.
Well, they got to get a touchdown. Field goal will not help them.
Colt hustles to the line. He's going to throw it. Going to get sacked. Blitz came from the corner. That was Dwight Lowry who came quick. And he missed the Redskins play up that time. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 14, loss of 4, 1:25 to play. Have plenty of time. They don't need to rush here.
That's right. They know what they.
Here comes the blitz again. Colt over the middle. Catches made. Good. He's going to go all the way. 10, 5. He is in. Touchdown Redskins. The defender gambled. And Jason Good out of the University of Maryland with the catch and score, and the Redskins take the lead.
And Colt Brennan does it again. I mean, he is something else, isn't he?
The blitz.
Yes.
He made a good play that time.
I tell you what, he's exciting to watch.
It was aligned on the right side, and the defender went for the interception. That was a Hedebo. And not a heady move by a Hedebo, and the Redskins scored. 4 plays. 80 yards in the PAT attempt by Sweezen to tack one on. It is up. It is good. A minute 9 to play. The Redskins with the lead for the first time tonight, 13-10.
Good play, huh? Exciting play.
It was. He makes it happen.
He came with the blitz. He got away from the blitz. Found his man. Made a good pass right down the middle. I gambled and missed. Gave up the touchdown.
Isn't it exciting?
He probably won't be with the Jets next week.
Colt Brennan will be here. He'll be with the Redskins.
Brennan to good the connection. And the Redskins take the lead for the first time tonight. Trying to keep their preseason record an unbeaten one.